Good Monday morning. Let me always gotta make sure I always want to check my levels to make sure I am coming through loud and clear. Happy Monday morning to each and every one of you who are listening, whether you are listening on LinkedIn, YouTube, or over on our Facebook group, and soon to be in 2014 inside of our community, the campus, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that here in a second as well. How was your Monday morning? 2 weeks. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit more than 2 weeks. I guess it's like was it 17 days, something like that, until no, it's not even 17 days. It's like 10 days, right? I don't know what I'm thinking about. It's like, so next Monday, and then that Thursday is really kind of like Thursday, Friday is really like Black Friday. So it's like, yeah, it's about, I guess it's about 10 days, 11 days. I'm lost. I'm lost. I don't know how many days. This is what happens. This is what happens when you're not at stores like you're used to in your career, which is interesting. So how was your Monday? I hope your Monday was great. Please let me know what you did for your Monday. I'm interested to learn a little bit more about how was your weekend. How did you spend your time? This weekend. What were some of the things that you were probably able to do this weekend? Just interested to kind of learn and know a little bit more about what you did this weekend. What did I do? Oh, I worked and I didn't visit any stores. I typically do try to do something like that. Didn't visit any stores this week. Worked on some community things. Watched my team over here in Manchester City. Had a 4-4 draw with Chelsea this weekend. So, not too much to talk about, relative to that. So, but here's the thing. I'm excited to talk about what we're going to be speaking about. We're 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out. It is go time right now as it relates to what we're going to be talking about for Black Friday and kind of moving forward. Let me make sure this. I think this is a duplicate. All right. So before we even do that, let's of course go and talk about our sponsor. Um, there's one thing that we have to realize when it comes to looking for job opportunities. There is this thing we call, and that they coined at VET. It's called the moment of intent, right? It means that whenever you think about doing something, you need to be able to have an outlet for that. You need to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm thinking about doing, and then actually be able to take action on doing that. When it comes to the job searching standpoint, when it comes to actually finding a part-time job, when it comes to actually even finding a new job, you need something that's actually going to fulfill that moment of intent. Vet is here. You have to go to vet.io and connect with them right now. So if you are an employer looking for applicants that are actually ready, if you're looking for a system that will actually, within 30 seconds of them filling out the application, provide an interview, come on now. We all know that, especially in retail. How many of you out there have filled out an application? How many of you have applied for a job and one have never heard back from them? That is probably one of the most things that one of the most like insincere things that actually happens in the hiring process. Not with vet. Within 30 seconds of you actually filling out an application for a specific company, within 30 seconds, you are actually going to be interviewed. That is the time frame that they have tested, and that is actually true for their system. So make sure you go ahead and connect with vet.io. They have a 7-day free trial for any employers that are actually looking to utilize their system as well. They also make sure you, as the applicant, have that opportunity to be interviewed as well. So check them out, vet.io. All right. So happy Monday morning. Let me make sure I am good to go. So we have several people watching. I appreciate all of you as well. So the inspiration for today, it is apropos to um, everything that we're going to be talking about today. I always try to do that. I always try to make sure that it makes sense. So little known fact about me, and I put it in like a comment today or a post today on LinkedIn, was that I played hockey, played a lot of, not mostly a lot, because I can't skate anymore. I just can't. I put that skating in the back of my mind, but I played hockey growing up. And I was reconnected with a friend on Facebook, and we used to play hockey together. As like, I think we were like maybe 14 or 15 or something like that, and it got me thinking about this quote, and it's by Wayne Gretzky. It says, "Move to where the puck is going to be." This quote is famous. It came out of a question that he was asked. Wayne Gretzky has to be one of the most famous hockey players ever, right? Ever. I grew up in a time where I watched Tony McKegney and Grant Fuhrer. They were in my time, like some of the only black players that were playing hockey. So that actually kind of inspired me when I was young to play. But he was asked a question around why does he score, or how does he score so many goals? And I just love this because this is exactly what he said. He said, "I move to where the puck is going to be." That is the when you think about what you need to do in life sometimes, the issue is that we kind of just stand still, and we're stagnant, and we don't move, and we expect things to kind of just happen, right? Goals as a hockey player just don't happen. You actually have to create those opportunities. You have to create and have movement, right? And the tendency sometimes as a leader is that we just expect opportunities to come our way. We expect the sales to just kind of come our way. We have to move to where the puck is going to be. We have to move to where the sales are going to be. We have to move to where the opportunity is going to be. The key word being movement. Movement. We cannot stay stagnant as a leader. You have to always be on the move, always looking for opportunities, right? John Maxwell always talked about, real leaders will see and they will seize opportunities. They will see and they will seize opportunities. You, as a leader, you have to be able to see those opportunities first and foremost, right? Those opportunities that are going to help you grow as a leader, that are going to help your team grow, that's going to help you from a capacity standpoint, all those different things. And once you're able to kind of see them, the biggest thing, the next thing is that you actually have to seize them. You have to do something, right? You have to do something, right? We just talked about it last week. The quote from last week, do the thing, right? A lot of times we talk the big game and we talk that we're going to be doing this and we want to do that, but we actually have to do something. As a leader, you have to have a structured perspective of who you are and what you want to accomplish in your life and in your career, and then actually see it and then actually seize that opportunity. So move to where the puck is going to be. All right. And then speaking of moving to where the puck is going to be, we want to connect you. I want to connect you and have you to be a part of the campus. We are on our road to 100 founding members for our campus. When one of the major things that a lot of senior retail leaders struggle with is the idea around resources, is the ability for them to kind of take in resources and an information that they can actually do something with. Here's the thing about information. Information is great, but it is only half of the puzzle. It is only the beginning part, right? Articles, podcasts, even listening to myself on these Monday mornings. But you have to do something again. You actually have to take action upon the resources. So we have created a learning community. It is a community that is truly focused in on taking ideas and concepts and all those things that a lot of as retail leaders that you don't speak about, and we bring them into the campus. We have already uploaded tons and tons of different resources for you. So we are going to be launching in January 10th, 2024. We are on our road to 100 founding members. We would love for you to be part of the campus. There is a link in the description or in the comments. You can go ahead and check it out. We have a one-time fee, but we also have a monthly fee that is actually super, super duper reasonable. But all of that goes up after we start the launch in January as well. So I'd love to have you to be part of that community. All right. So I'm going to keep it I'm going to keep it super simple today. Super, super duper simple today. We are here, of course, talking about 2 weeks out from Black Friday. I am not going to do anything that is going to complicate the process or complicate your mentality around what you need to get accomplished. So as I always want to do, before we move into one thing to know, one thing to do, is I always want to do a couple foundational things. And this will probably be, this is from last week, but it's also going to be for this week and it's going to be from next week too, because some people I don't have the same crowd each week. So I want to make sure that I kind of stick these messages into kind of your psyche and what your thought process is as you begin the week. So this is not the time for complex. This is not the time for complex. This is not the time for you to try to implement new initiatives, new thoughts, new structures, right? It is just not the time for that. It is a time for movement, right? And that's the second point. It's about movement. It's about movement of talent, and it's about movement of product. So when we get this time to this time of year, listen to me. Your team is your team. Your team is your team, right? Other than the seasonal hiring that you have brought on, how good, bad, or indifferent your team is, they are your team right now. So the only thing that you can try to do right now is to galvanize them around the energy that is associated with Black Friday and Q4, right? You have to get them in the mindset of adaptability, move to where the puck is going to be. It is about movement of talent and movement of product. And then the other piece is around the self-discovery happens in the crucibles. In these moments in time, you have to think about what are some of the learnings, and we'll touch upon this here in a second. What are some of the learnings that you need to kind of take away from this season? Right? Because there are going to be a lot. There are going to be a lot, not just for you, but for your team. And I think we need to have a mindset of understanding that we are going to have those moments where we're going to be learning different things. how do we actually take some of those learnings and do something with those learnings as well? All right. And then the last part, I just did an article last week on this one. It's not your fault. It's not your fault, but it's your problem. Um, don't take it personal. It's about action. Okay. I want to help you with this. I want to help you understand this time of year too. Communication can get frazzled, and it can become very direct, and it can become very direct, right? And the tendency sometimes is that we start to take a leader's sort of directness as almost who they are when things just need to happen. I always want to keep it honest with you. I can sit here and say, "Oh my gosh, everybody just needs to pause and take time and just like be able to communicate properly." Listen to me. This is go time. You have customers coming through the door and they are looking for products for their 2-year-old. They can care less sometimes about the sensitivity around certain things. And I know this is probably a popular perspective, but it's a real perspective. It happens all the time. And I am not talking about direct communication to be, negative or abusive. I'm just talking about, hey, I need you to do this. And I can give you the reason why, but this is what I need you to do. And you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna rock it out. I'm gonna rock this thing out. This time of year, you cannot take things personal. You have to be able to put um, some of that to the side. And I think as a leader, as a CA vice president, regional director, DM, even down to store manager, you have to be able to communicate that up front. Here's the issue of what happens. This is going to save you so much, so much when you are about to change some measure of your leadership style to fit a situation, you need to communicate that up front. Hey guys, we're going to be going into Q4, right? My communications typically is a little bit more tempered, but as we move into Q4, we are still going to. It's going to be tempered, but there's going to be a sense of urgency that I'm going to need you to understand in my communication. So while the tone and tenure of what I say may change, understand the place of where it's coming from is still the same. Place of concern, place of empathy, place of understanding, but the delivery may just be a little bit different. When you do that, when you're able to communicate that there's going to be a slight change in your communication up front, I'm not saying everybody's going to embrace it, but but you've been forewarned. So when you are about to make a change as a leader in your leadership style, and from a seasonality standpoint, right? Hiring, interviewees. Hey, we're about to bring a whole bunch of people on board, everybody. We're about to bring a whole bunch of people on board. You need to be able to communicate these things up front. And the more you're able to do that, the better off, and excuse me, the more and the sooner you're able to do that, the easier it becomes for you to actually communicate appropriately and to get things done, especially this time of year. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up or something like that if that makes sense, because I think we always want our communication to always be the same kind of throughout the course of the year. And there are moments in time where it just can't be. It just can't be. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's move into the one thing to know um, as a store manager and then also as a multi-unit leader. So store managers, Q4 Black Friday kickoff meetings, communication, execution. So last week, I saw a ton of posts about kickoff meetings for Black Friday and for Q4. Kickoff meetings are great, right? Everybody's excited. Everybody is thinking about what's going to take place Black Friday and things along that line. However, what is the execution of that? What is the communication process? Because here's the thing: everyone wasn't privy to that meeting, right? Where all this energy takes place. I I used to come back. I was the leader that my leaders would always send to all of these corporate training events at HQ because I loved those settings. I loved all of that information. I thrive in a classroom setting. That's just how I'm built. And so I would come back loaded for bear, all excited, and I'm ready to do this and I'm ready to do that. And then what I realized was that, my peers and even my boss, they weren't there. They weren't able to understand my level of excitement for all the information that I was able to take in. So I had to learn how to be able to take all of that excitement, crystallize it down, and be able to communicate some of the finer points to my peers and also to my boss who were not there. Same thing holds true when you think about these meetings. You're Susie, that's over. I'm gonna start picking on Susie again. Susie, that's over in the back room, or it's even Susie she may be your admin as a regional or senior vice president. They weren't there at these meetings. Your store ops team, they weren't there. Some of them weren't there in some of these meetings. So how do you communicate your message, from these meetings to your team? That's the most important part. So you have to know how to be able to do that. Um, Same thing with you as a multi-unit leader. This could probably be the only time where they're the same this week. Is that you have to do the same thing. You planned those meetings out, right? You provided entertainment. You got the team jazzed up. They're all excited. Now what? Now what? How are you going to build off of that momentum? What is going to you need to know how are you going to leverage these meetings, right? Because meetings for meetings' sake, they don't do anything. They actually have to have an afterlife, right? So how are you taking bits and pieces of that um, of that meeting? Here's the other thing, multi-unit leaders. Here's the other thing. I'm going to help you out with this. This is going to really help you out. Who's the person, who's the store or the market in that meeting that was not excited, that wasn't excited to be there, right? Who's the person that didn't participate when everybody was getting all psyched and everybody's getting all pumped up? Who's the person? What's the market? They were just sitting back and just kind of like, okay, yeah, this is all great. This is all great. It's all great. Two things. Either they're a seasoned leader who's been through some of this before and they're not really excited about, or the second part, they don't got their stuff together. They don't got their stuff together. And so they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm at this time of year. And everybody's all excited. And I'm not excited. And my team's horrible. I don't know where any of this product is. I haven't stored things in my location where my staffing plan is jacked up. We are so behind. Right? Who are those people? Who are those people? Identify them, connect with them, and take some of the information from these meetings and make sure that you are connecting with them appropriately. Hope that makes sense. Hope that helps you out. Because if you don't, you are gonna be you you are gonna be at that store through the entire fourth quarter. And sometimes that's what you need to do. You need to be at some of these stores kind of all the way through fourth quarter. And that's kind of what happens as well too. Let me make sure. I see Sherry Jones and Roanne. Yes, Roanne says, yeah, I love that Steve sees the opportunity, and good morning to you, Cher, as well. And then Bill Matt Haas over on YouTube. It says Black Friday, Black Friday, baby, take my money. I know. It is that time of year. It is that time of year. All right. So one thing to ask store managers. And I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to keep this one up here because I think it's still important. Did I add? No, I didn't add one. I'm going to keep this one still up here from last week because, like I said, you just got to keep things simple. I don't believe in trying to like do too many things that are going to uh, cause people to not operate in the confines of the season, right? Uh, Especially from a store manager standpoint, because you actually have to really kind of execute and have a really good solid team that's going to help you execute. Where's your biggest opportunities and where's your biggest points of failure, right? It's not going to change. This part is not going to change. you have to understand where are those biggest points of failure within your store. You got a lot of information from that that Black Friday Q4 meeting, around products and around assortment, probably even around, maybe hopefully we'll talk about this here in a second, around visit strategy from your district manager, your regional manager. Hopefully you got some more context on that too. The other thing that hopefully you were able to receive, um, some of this stuff changes as you move closer to Black Friday, and even on Black Friday and the weekend. It's going to be around some of the major things that, the corporate flights, corporate people are going to be out. Some of the things that they're going to be looking at. Try your best to get a better handle and understanding of that. And that's where you take a partner with your district manager, your senior vice president, to have a better understanding of what are some of those things that they're going to be looking at: products, placement, sales, customer feedback, all those different pieces as well too. Because some of those things could be your biggest points of failure as well. So one thing to ask as a multi-unit: which stores need my help preparing this week? Go to them and spend some time fine tuning. This week should be a week for you, probably last week too, of visiting some of those stores based off of what I just said. Those that market that's in the back, like, oh my gosh, like I'm not even ready for this. Like I can't even, like, my staffing plan is horrible, right? I'm telling you, if you don't have a really good staffing plan right now, um, you're going to be in a world of hurt. But for multi-unit leaders, you actually have to make sure that you are spending time at some of those stores. I just um, Christopher, he's typically here on the Win Your Weekend. I was messaging him back and forth. Chris is a district manager for Ralph Lauren, and he was just saying, hopefully, Chris, you're okay with me sharing this because it's nothing big. But he was, hey, I was just at my store, Steve, kind of doing overnights and stuff like that, and I commended him on doing that, because that's what needs to take place this time of year, right? As a DM, I'm not asking. Your boss isn't asking you throughout the course of the year to do overnights with your stores, right? Because they need to understand how to actually do things, but you need to take some time to actually go in some of these stores and actually spend more time to help them get assorted. You need to give them, like, your vision, right? Because you can see things, right? It's almost like you're a coach, right? How many of you watch American football, right? You see there's a coach on the field, but then there's also coaches that are actually up in the booth. Those coaches up in the booth, they can see the entire field. They can see the entire. I love those. I love that view. Even when I'm watching, like, football, soccer, I love those views because you can see the entire play unfold, right? You can see when a person does X, you can see what that triggers for the defensive player. All these things. It's a beautiful thing to watch. You can actually see things unfold. That is your job as a multi-unit leader. Your job is to look up on high, and I don't mean up on high as like I am up on high and I'm coming down with, like, Moses with the Ten Commandments. It's not about that. It's about looking up on high, being able to see the entire picture and to see things and to be able to communicate what you could potentially see with that store and with that market effectively, so people can actually make changes, so people can do things a lot differently than what they're doing, right? I That's the one thing, if I can be very honest with you, I love what I'm doing. That's probably the one thing that I miss the most, from being in stores, is to be able to go into a market and be able to see that big picture, and just to be able to, like, oh my gosh, I can see it all, and just to be able to communicate, like, hey, I can see this happen over here if you don't do this, all right? And it's not a point your finger thing. It's like, hey, let me show you this. You kind of bringing them over here. You bring that leader over here, and you be like, hey, do you see what I see? And it's kind of like, oh yeah, I didn't think about it that way, Steve. It's like, cool, man. Let's develop a plan to figure it out. Or you take the other person and bring them over here. You're like, hey, if you don't do X, what do you think is going to occur? right? You're just bringing them over here. Ooh, if I don't do this, this is going to happen. Awesome. That's the thing I miss. But to be very honest, I actually still do that. I do that. I do my coaching and training, and it's just helping people kind of see their where they are, so that they can kind of move forward, right? That they can move forward. I'm not going to go into my whole like history of coaching and professional development. I'll do that for another day. But that's what you need to be doing as a multi-unit leader. You need to ask yourself, what are those stores that you need to be preparing and going in and helping them fine tune. All right. So speaking of that, fine tuning. So Worthy Retail News, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe to Worthy Retail News. It is chock full of information and content. We handle those challenges that are not spoken in the retail industry for the senior retail leaders, things that they face on a daily basis. We provide real solutions for your real problems as well. The other thing that we've been getting a lot of really good feedback on is that every Thursday, of course, we do a LinkedIn Live event, and I am able to actually take the information, take that audio event from LinkedIn Live, and I actually put it on our newsletter. So that way, if you miss the event, you actually have the opportunity. You actually have the opportunity to actually still listen to it, and it has been extremely, extremely, extremely popular. Hello, Miss Debbie Cliff Jones. I see you over there in the cut. How are you doing over on Facebook? And but make sure you go ahead and subscribe to Worthy Retail News right now. You will not be disappointed as well. All right, cool. So we got I am making excellent time today. So we are doing we are the last one. they're going to the balloons. I did not stage that. I did not. Listen to me. I thought I turned that off. Oh my gosh, did they go? I'm looking at them on this other screen. I don't know what happened. I don't know how to do that. I do know how to do it on my phone, and I know it's like a new thing with the iOS systems. Oh my gosh, that is so impromptu and so funny. If you're listening to this and you're not looking at this, you just missed a treat. You can go back, you know, 20 seconds or so and kind of take a look at it. But it was funny. The balloons came up. I don't know how I did it on this system. It's just funny. All right, so let's do this the last one. This may sound extremely simple. Do one thing. Have enough food for every shift. And I should have put every shift every day. And I should have put every shift every day. And I know this is like I cannot emphasize enough that you need to have food for your store teams. And I don't mean, and I mean enough food, right? That is the one thing that I didn't balk at. Whenever I looked at my budget, or I would go to a store and I would actually see, you know, just tons of food. I'm fine with that. It was just a cleanliness level, making sure that there was a plan in place to keep the food, from spoiling and things along that line. But you have to have enough food for every. And this is why I'm not talking about this next week, right? You should be planning this right now, or you should have been planning this maybe even at your meeting. Don't wait. There's another emoji. Oh my gosh. Don't wait until next week. It's too late. It's too late, because it is the holiday weekend. People are flying into whatever city that you're at, and it's just too late. So you have to do this now. If you haven't thought about this now, multi-unit leaders, if you haven't got a plan from your stores around what they're going to be serving for food, right? Make sure you do that. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Okay, store managers. I'm kind of lean in and tell you this real quick. So a lot of times, and I'm just gonna keep it honest with you. I visited stores based on the based on the food that they had. I am so serious. I am so serious. I am so serious. A lot of times I would go to certain stores based on the food they had, and it was just fun. And they were like, and they knew they were like, okay, Steve's gonna be coming here because we got burgers or whatever. I would go to all my stores, of course, but I'm just joshing. But those are some of the things that you want to think about. If you don't want if you don't want your leader at the store serves something that they don't like, just a little inside joke there. All right, and this goes into the last point for multi-unit leagues. Finalize your visit strategies based on your kickoff meeting preparedness, and this goes back to what I said around who are those leaders that were in the meeting that weren't really saying a lot, that weren't really kind of participating, and that's not a telltale sign that they're not ready, right? But more often than not, those are the things that you want to kind of take a look at and you want to think about. Finalize your visit strategy for your stores. Here's the other thing: a lot of your visit strategy is going to be dependent upon your boss. Right? When are they going to be flying into to town, or when can you catch a flight to another part of your market? Right. So all of these things, if it wasn't this week, maybe it was last week. If you have a HR, a business partner, or you have a store ops team that you're partnering with, ideally you have already kind of finalized and thought about where you are going to be going and you're going to be spending your time. Should you communicate that? Right? Should you communicate that? That's probably another good question to think about. Um, you know, I, I always visited the stores. uh, here's the strategy that I think most um, regional CMS presidents and people they it's two things. They're either going to visit and be at the store that has probably some of the maybe the most challenges, or maybe the newest leader, right? The new It's more often the newest leader. If you have a very new leader running the store or even running a market, that's initially where I spend my time. That is almost 100% of where I would spend my time, right? Because they need you. They need your support. They need your guidance, right? Honestly, they need probably just a little bit of hand holding, right? Just to kind of like, and they need encouragement, right? That's probably the biggest one. They need some encouragement to let them know they feel supported. So that's where the majority of multi-unit leaders, you spend your time, probably with that newest leader, and then after that you probably go to the store where maybe has the most challenges, right? And then you're constantly probably getting updates on how things are going, traffic count, sell through, all these different things. And um, I tried to hit as many stores as I could on Black Friday, and then I'm an early riser, and I would get up super early, and then I would really try to go into stores and look at the aftermath if I could at certain stores, and then I would either fly out and go to another market and then spend time there, and then either stay overnight and try to either do more stores on Sunday morning as well too. The uh, the biggest thing that happens, of course, the most visits are, of course, going to be that weekend, right? You'll probably visit stores multiple times, which is what I've done, right? Just because you want to know, you want to be able to see that you may have new information. You may be able to provide them with some more guidance based off of what they've already sold through. Their store may be blown up, right? And if hopefully you have a store team that actually communicates properly and they can let you know, man, my store is jacked up and I'm going to probably need some more support, right? And you may have stores that actually have it together. They may have a couple extra people, right? And guess what? You slide them on over. This goes back to what I just talked about. It is about movement of talent, and it's about movement of product this time of year. This goes back to 100% back to that. It's about movement of talent, and it's about movement of product and being able to see the big picture and actually help provide clarity for your leaders during this time of year. Because if you're not able to do that, then it's you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're not really helping your team become the best that they possibly can be. All right, so final thoughts. Take a partner, be a partner quickly, quickly. Think about how you can solve problems collectively, how you can, once again, um, move to where the puck is going to be. If you're just joining me, that's the quote that that's the inspirational quote that we use by Wayne Gretzky today is to move to where the puck is going to be. You have to be able to do that, and then live in Q4, but keep an eye on Q1. And I know this sounds counterintuitive to everything that we just talked about around keeping it simple, not complex, but you can do both. You can do both. I stole that phrase from when I was a store manager. I am senior vice president coming into my store, and we had this new shoe initiative in our store, and then we also had this fitting room initiative we were running simultaneously. And my thought process was, I really wanted to focus in on the fitting room because that's where a lot of customers come in and they want to have a really good experience. We can figure out the shoe initiative, and we had people in place. And he said to me, "Why can't you do both?" And I was like, "Because I didn't think about it that way." I didn't think about it that way. That's what we did. We did both. So this is 2000 and I don't know, gosh, 8 maybe. No, yeah, something like that. Maybe 2009. I can't remember. But I've used that phrase almost kind of throughout my career too. Whenever someone talks to me about certain things, why can't you do both? Oh, well, I never thought about it that way. Or, well, let's develop a plan or strategies to help you do both. So this is why I say this: live in Q4, but keep an eye on Q1. Got a podcast episode coming out that talks about how to, take your learnings from Q4 and move them into Q1 because you need a strategy, you need a plan, which is why we are launching, of course, the campus in Q1 to help kind of the tail end of Q4, Q1. But it's to help you kind of take all of your different learnings as a leader, as an individual leader, and then bring them into an environment, a community, and be able to connect with me, and we can teach, coach, and train some of the different things that you may be challenged with as well as a retail leader. All right. Let me see. Here we go. Oh no. Okay. Last thing too. Of course, every Thursday we have our live LinkedIn audio room. I had a good topic on mind, and honestly, I completely forgot about what it is. I was going to talk about it today, but I can't. But there you go. Make sure you just join us every Thursday if you can. Once again, and if you can't get there live, the audio is going to be on our newsletter. So make sure you go and subscribe to our newsletter, worthyretailnews.com. All right. I hope everyone has had I hope everyone has a great Friday, a great week. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments or give me a thumbs up to let me know if this resonates, if this is resonating with you, if um if any of this information has struck a chord in you. Uh if there's a question that you may have, go ahead and put it in the comments. If not, no worries. I just wanted to make sure that as you continue to move through Q4, um, and moving into Black Friday, I'm telling you, there is just going to be so much information that is going to be coming at you. And I do want to go. I want to. Is it this one? Um, yeah, this one. You know, just think about this though. It's not your fault, but it's your problem. You got to don't take it personal. It's about action. And then this last one, it's about movement of talent and it's about movement of product. Period. If you think about everything, everything that you're going to be faced with, it is a talent or it's a product issue. This time of year, it's a talent or it's a product issue. How do I help my team, galvanize around that central idea, around their ability to be able to make decisions from a talent standpoint, and then a product movement standpoint? Where's the product? Where's it located? Where do I put it out? When do I put it out? Right. And then being able to communicate that to the entire team. All right. So thank you for being here. Have a great Monday. and a great rest of your week. From week from today, we are going to be doing 1 week out for not even really 1 week out. It'll probably be. I think I have to change it to like 4 days out. Until Black Friday. But super excited for all of you. I want you to have a successful Q4. I want all of you, store managers, senior vice presidents on down. I want you to have a successful fourth quarter. You deserve it. You've been busting your butt this entire year, right? You've been developing talent. You've been developing yourself. This is your go time. This is your time to shine. This is this is the time where you just you just want to go and crush it where you are. Just go and crush it where you are. Don't leave anything. Don't leave anything on the table. Don't leave anything on the table. Get after it. Go after it. Develop talent. Get with your team. Teach, coach, and train them. Right, and get yourself ready to have a successful Q4, but also to move yourself into a successful Q1, right? And if you need some help with all of that, any of that, right? As a coach, I'm here to help you to train your team. I'm here to help you as well. I'll connect with you very soon. Have a great Monday and God bless.